Hello, welcome. As you can see, we're playing a DOS game here today. So what we're doing here is actually playing a game from 1995 called Blackstar Agent of Justice. Now, what's interesting about this is it's a point-and-click adventure that was made by an independent developer, Thomas. I think it's pronounced Vita Oko. I'm not actually sure, honestly, and it's kind of one of the name I have never actually had to say out loud, so I can't. Oh, let me read it again because I'm looking at a list of it. It's Thomas Vitaco. I think that's how it's actually pronounced. I don't know where I was getting the other pronunciations from. So what's interesting about this is it's actually a game that has a Native American as the main lead, which was for 1995 extremely rare. I'm not actually sure what games back in the 90s had made Native American leads. And mind you, this is about 9 years before Prey, and then let's see about ooh thinking. Let me check. I need to be sure about this, but I think this is actually. Let's see here. Ooh, 17 years before Assassin's Creed 3. As an example of another major game with Native American lead, and in other games in between those dates. So this is actually pretty interesting from a standpoint of cultural representation. And it's actually got two different episodes in it, as you can see from the directory. The first one was released as a shareware. Basically shareware back in the day it was effectively a demo of a game that had a specific length. Like okay, for example, Duke Nukem 3D. The shareware episode was the first one, episode 1, and then you had to send in money and register your copy to get episodes 2 and 3. And there was a lot of games back then that had that model of where shareware meant you got to like a part 1 of the game for free, and it was one that was passed around in order to get your eyes on it. It was actually a very useful model. Later that got supplemented by demos and then just outright phased out of the industry period. So anyway, we continue on now. In order to get sound in this game, okay, there's two different ways to get sound in Blackstar. Sorry, one is to do it via the PC speaker, which gives you a brief musical playthrough, plays every time you enter a new room, or rather, every time you change the room you're in, not just a new room. Period. Another way is by using a sound card. Now, for Blackstar, if you try to do it normally, it will not work. However, in DOSBox, you have to do it this way, and unfortunately, it does not persist. So you have to do it each and every single time. Every time you boot up DOSBox to play. So anyway, we'll just start it up and let's go. Hmm. Okay, so this is weird. Oh, I think I crashed the game. Let's try that again. Now, I remember testing this before and it seemed to have gone through just fine, so this is peculiar. Oh, there we go. I guess I had to press enter or just restart it. So there we go. Now, this is an interesting way to advance text. We use the right click instead of the left click. And this is basically, episode 1 was the shareware version, and it was pretty sanitized. However, as you can see here, the second game was, much more in your face. And here we got music. See, I don't know where I was getting that cocoa from, so it's Vatako, I think is how it's pronounced. Now you can't go straight into a new game and all that. But we'll do the intro so you get a general idea of what's going on here. Now he looks, he's interesting because, going by the sprite, you would think he's mostly Caucasian. However, he does have two Native American parents, so it's interesting. So you kind of makes you think about what the art design for what the art the game's developer had for art design. If he went with that while having two Native American parents. So basically, this guy is a private investigator who's also a bit of a vigilante. So he gets free rent because he beats the shit out of people, I guess. Also, innuendo. So if you move over to Blackstar's head, you could actually get some vague hints on what to do in a scenario. So there's also vague hints like this, where you can get an idea of what you need to do at some point. Now, in part 1, you don't need to turn off the light until I think the actual last sequence of the game. In part 2, it's also required about early to mid game. Now, to finish the story, you need to go over here. Let me adjust the sound a little bit too. That seems a little bit loud. Yeah, it's a bit better. Now you will need to get this. It is required to advance the game. So you can get answer machine. Your answer machine gives you plot points of where to go at some point, and you cannot go back to it once you do that. So you cannot call somebody unless there's a natural reason to do it. It is a fairly linear game. Now, here's something interesting. Safe Harbor is a location that you go to in part 2. So even in part 1, you were being told you would need to go to at some point. And it's hard to read the writing, unfortunately. Yeah, there's some part of it you can read. It says, check out the people at Safe Harbor. And I think it says, because they seem like... And I'm not sure what this is. And it's talking about how Blackstar believes there might be something going on here. And here it's talking about asking Prey for something. Okay, I think it says something about info. Anyway, call back Cam. Also, purple text is always Blackstar. Every character has a unique text color. Now, you will talk to Prey at some point. As you can see here, it gives you a hint on what we need to talk to at some point. When you see stuff like, no need for that yet, or similar text. And you can, move around. You have to go to very specific points on the screen in order to, exit. There we go. It's over here somewhere. Well, it's... Oh, hit the wrong button. Okay, so... Okay, so you cannot use your map right now. Let's see. Just where is that little like a little hot spot where you can get up back up? I used to be able to do it so easily. It's been so long since I played, I can't remember. Now, I remember seeing a little... So it is a bit of a hot spot. There. Oh. It's over here? Oh, sure I saw it. There we go. So you can look at his inventory. That's a really bad joke. You'll see why. We cannot go by there just yet. Now over here, there should be a way up. Oh, we may not be able to access this area in part 1. Probably why we can't see it yet. So it's a prostitute. You need to give her the bracelet in order to get her to talk. So when you find a character you can talk to, you not only do you see unique color, but you also get to talk to them about different topics. So mirror character, there's no real reason to talk to her other than you get rid of the bracelet. Man, he looks like he fell out of an 80s hair metal band. So, for something I almost forgot to talk about was this is made by the same developer who did point and click adventure called Melodious. 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 Melody. It's a pun about that. And here you see it referencing to Melodious. So something interesting about this is that that kind of dialogue is actually necessary. Rather the dialogue is not quite necessary, but it gives you hints on what stuff you will need to do a little bit. So we need to go to the cop shop, which is there's a bar. We do need to go to the bar as well. So we'll be going to quite a few of these locations. So this is a important plot point about his heritage as well as the fate of his mother. So talking to the Dark Wolf, you get access to the crowbar by talking to him about weapons. Going all Gordon Freeman in here soon. Okay, so now we go to the cemetery to get the rubber glove. And need to use this in order to get rid of the spider. So that becomes later part of part 2. So some does give you some hints at upcoming content. So it's impossible to get into a game over situation or a no-win scenario. The game's linearity prevents this. So now we got the police key. Breaking in there, yeah. To a fucking cop station. Now I think there's supposed to be some kind of Easter egg around here. Heh, it's 10:52. I may be thinking of something in part 2 instead. Anyway, we can use the tool to break in the padlock. So here is a note about the madness. As you can see, bad things are happening here. So something is going on. Now we need to make a stop over here at the Island Shack. Need to pick this up for later. Now take a trip to the subway. Damn. So he dropped his ass. Now we need to go back to our apartment because we have gotten what we need. I think we're supposed to pick up flowers somewhere in order to talk to Giselle, so we'll go looking for those in a moment. Kind of forget where they were at. So the tribe gathering is something that only shows up in part 2. Let's go back and check I think we can get something here. There it is. Saw stuff that becomes relevant in part 2. So let's go talk to Giselle real quick. So we can't use her PC. So apparently she had a bad pimp. Oh, we didn't give her the flowers. We go do that. Okay, so now we got to go back to the cop shop. Also, is it me or does this dude look like an old Alan Grant? Alan Grant combined with John Hammond, anyway. Considering this is released 2 years after Jurassic Park, well, yeah. So just there's an illusion to the dialogue to him having done other kind of breaking and entering activities. So now we gotta go back to our apartment and page prey. Now we gotta go over to the park. And there's our guy. And this is why you want to go to the subway before coming here, so you don't have to come back anyway. So you use the sack, use the heavy stones you got from going to the island area, and boom, you now have access to laptops. And now we head back. Okay, so we do not need to turn it off. Turn the light off if you look at the laptop for this. All right. So there's the big twist. He found a floppy of his a snuff film involving his mother. So here you see screenshots of what was to come in part 2. And that is Agent of Justice Part 1. Oh, there we go. It is a pretty short game for the shareware episode, but it was meant to hook you in. So next time we'll be covering Part 2. See you next time, and thanks for watching.